Welcome to Quick Scares, reviews of games in the horror genre that I don't care to do full commentaries on. Today, we'll be taking a look at Slender the 8 Pages, formerly known as just Slender, a first-person survival horror game for the PC developed and released by Parsec Productions in 2012. We begin with the sound of our protagonist climbing over a chain-link fence. You take a second to get your bearings, find out you can walk, run, shine a flashlight, and that's about it. Your point of view is, for some reason, out of a video camera the protagonist is carrying. Curious, but whatever. When you started, the game told you to find the pages, so you venture off into the dark forest, wondering what the difficulty in that could be. Then, perhaps near an abandoned truck or on the side of a large tree, you find your first page. On it, a crude yet somewhat creepy drawing and a message. Always watches, no eyes. You pause to ponder the meaning of this and notice that the woods aren't just dark. They're really goddamn creepy. Is something else out there? What is it that watches you with no eyes? You muster up your courage and set off to gather the rest of the pages. After you gather 2 or 3 more of the strange pages, you begin to feel uneasy. The feeling that something is watching you is unshakable now, and as you pass by what is probably the same tree for the 4th time, your camera starts to distort, and you hear the faintest sound of static. You turn, looking for the source of the disturbance, and jump, adrenaline coursing through your body as you notice him. You notice it. Let's talk about the Slender Man for a minute. For those not in the know, Slender Man was born on the Something Awful forums in 2009 in the form of a set of photographs and a small blurb of text. From there, the people of the internet expanded, exaggerated, conversed. Eventually they forged a mind-boggling amount of content featuring the Slender Man, ranging from incredible to mediocre to laughable. It is likely impossible to encounter, understand, and keep straight all the different tales, videos, feature-length films, games, alternate reality games, and references that make up the Slender Man mythos. I myself am only a follower of the 3 big vlogs, Marble Hornets, Tribe 12, and Everyman Hybrid, though I have read Eccentrically Bored and Hidden in the Trees, some of the early work in the Fear mythos. But the Fear mythos is another story for another day. So, what is it that makes this character so memorable, so lasting? I don't know myself, but he creeps me right the f*** out. I think it's this other content, though, this backstory, for lack of a better word, that makes the game work. It makes it something more than, oh ha jump scares lols. This creature does what he does for a purpose, despite you not knowing what that purpose is. He has a reason to stop you from finding these pages, but you don't know what it is. He will do something horrible to you if he catches you. But, are you following me here? You don't know what it is. And I don't know if you care to find out. Knowing even the slightest bit of this backlog wealth of information helps with the immersion, because Slender Man influences such a non-specific fear. It overshadows the normal jump scare. You want to avoid him. You want to succeed because what little there is to know about him always involves fear and death, and it's presented in such a way as to unearth a primal fear in the pit of your stomach that can only translate to whatever you fear most, whatever you wish for the least, that's what he'll do to you. So you run. You have no weapons, not that they'd work, and no means of preventing him following you, so you turn off your dinky little flashlight and you run, you dodging him at every turn, praying you can complete what you set out to do before he inflicts his wrath upon you. And then, somewhere along the line, you zig instead of zag, or stand still just a little too long, and that static noise erodes your senses, and you're drawn to turn and face him, and that blank stare is the last thing you see. Okay, dramatics out of the way, this game is a treat, and should serve as a lesson to the survival horror genre. The gameplay is an exercise in simplicity and succeeds because of it rather than in spite of it. Though, once you get the mechanics of Slendy figured out a bit, you learn a few ways to keep him in check that don't involve flailing around blindly. Visually, it's not spectacular, but it gets the job done well. And the only complaint is that if you do manage to see old Mr. Slim up close, he looks more like a doll or a statue than a tentacled scion of fear. Though, depending on your fears, That just might make it worse. And on the replay front, finishing the game unlocks different play modes, from playing in broad daylight to the game being all Marble Hornetsy-like and lacking a soundtrack. There's even an extra game mode only available if you manage to get a slightly older version of the game. So yeah, if you're at all a fan of getting freaked out, pissing your pants, jumping out of your chair in fear, this is definitely a must-play. And the price tag of free is certainly nothing to scoff at. And don't think that's the last you'll see of the Tall Man. This game was just the beginning. Project Macabre gives Slender the 8 pages for the PC a 7.8 out of 10.